We're live now.
Now.
Hi, everybody.
My goal is to jump in at the exact right moment.
One
so
of these
that
days,
I ask, are we live?
One of these days, I'm going to take us live without telling you.
At
So
what,
when you
5 minutes till the hour?
No, I mean like at the right time. But instead of how I usually let you know, I usually say, okay, well, because here for people who don't know every boring little behind the scenes detail of how our live stream works.
You think they're boring?
I'm using XSplit, which is a streaming program, and the way I have it set up is you stream live to YouTube from XSplit, but then in order for it to go really live, like so that everybody can watch,
extra live,
there's a go live button actually on the YouTube page. So you don't actually, and then even then, I have our microphones turned off, and I have it, I have it, on the thumbnail, the title card, instead of on what you're seeing now. So even then, people can't see us and hear us until after I switch over to the scene with the Zoom call. So before I do that last step, so that everybody can see us and hear us, I usually say to you, Dana, okay, are you ready? And you say, yes.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll go. So
yeah. Well, I mean, but let's also clarify that before you ask if I'm ready, 3 or 4 times, I've already asked, are we live? How about now?
Yes, that's true. That's true. And have you pushed all the buttons but one? Because it's some old. Yeah. Caitlin says you still pay for XSplit. Yeah. I mean, I've considered switching to one of the, the online streaming platforms. But you have to pay for those too, or at least I would have to pay for the version that I would want to have the functionality that I would want to have a good show. And I just haven't made that leap yet. And XSplit works.
That's what you want.
Yeah. So, and yes, I have OBS, and I have used OBS, on occasion when XSplit hasn't worked. I have OBS as kind of a backup. And actually I use OBS for other things, just not for live streams. But for the live stream, I like to use XSplit. So, but OBS is a fine product. OBS is a fine product.
That's what you had me use.
That's right. Yes, you use that for your live streams. Yeah.
And to record.
Yeah, you can record your screen and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's very useful. That's mostly what I use it for. If I'm doing a video where I'm going to show like video clips of something, and I either I can't just download the video, or it's not available for whatever reason, I'll play the video. Like if it's, like a MacGyver episode and I want to show a clip from it or something, I'll play the MacGyver episode on my computer and I'll screen record it with OBS. And then that's how I get, the footage. So I use OBS for that kind of stuff. So we are watching Poirot this week.
Woohoo!
And the episode we're watching is The Adventure of the Italian Nobleman. So if you do not have a copy of that episode, or have access to a copy of that episode, and you would like to watch along with us, which we highly recommend,
yes.
There is a link in the video description of this live stream that you are watching right now that you can use to download the episode from the Internet Archive, where some saint of a person has uploaded the Poirot series. So you can download it while we're doing our pre-show, or our first part of the show chit chat, and hopefully by the time we're all done yakking, everybody will have the episode downloaded and we'll be ready to watch Poirot together. FPL Frost in the chat says, it always baffles me there's not a bigger audience for this. Seriously? I mean, I'm like, it would be nice to have a bigger audience just in general, but I mean, it's 2 people watching episodes of Poirot or Deep Space Nine. I mean, would you think there'd be a huge audience for that? I'm very grateful for the audience we have.
It would be nice if we had a larger audience of people not praising. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the part of the, how they're praising the meeting. If they're praising Zelensky and how he kept his cool at that meeting, Yes, I have great admiration for him. There was something when something, oh yeah, about the fact that he's not wearing a suit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
but or maybe it was that he said, I don't, I'll wear one of your costumes when the war
Yeah,
is over.
a reporter asked him, "Why aren't you wearing a suit?" And he said, "Maybe when the war is over, I'll wear a costume, maybe as nice, maybe even as nice as yours, or something like that." I was like,
Yes, and
you.
there were there were some people who said that it might be because costume is the word in his language, so it is a sort of almost a false cognate, because it does refer to that. And so calling, using the word costume, so yeah, would be a false cognate. We wouldn't use that word for suit, but it's a,
Oh, I see.
but so two things. First of all, um the reporter used the word suit, so like the word's right there.
Yeah,
So
and he
are you,
and he clearly understood the question. You're
well,
right.
I mean, it is different in what you understand versus what you say, but the fact that the word was given to him,
Yeah,
not so much. And he is fluent, but I mean, even if like using the exact right synonym that you want is sometimes really challenging, even if have a good command of the language in general. But more importantly, I know other people have mentioned, I don't know if I've said it to you or not, but do you know what his job was before he got into politics?
he was a comedian. He was like a
Uh-huh.
TV. He was an actor and a comedian. Yeah,
So yeah, let's be really clear on that. A comedian has good command of language and knows what word they want to use. Like,
yeah,
they're on that. So no, that was deliberate. Good for him.
yeah. He before he actually ran for president of Ukraine, he starred in a TV show about a comedian who got elected president of Ukraine.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. That is, yeah, yeah. Um, Azalea Jane and Caitlin, yeah. We actually talked about that in my English 2 class, because we're just finishing up reading, theoretically finishing up reading Persepolis. And so we talked about overall, sort of the things that we have to do, and customs versus laws, and the way that social norms and what we should do, things that we're expected to do based on respectability versus things that actually are more of a matter of, let's say, safety, or something along those lines. So we had a discussion on that, and also things that we do just because we're used to it. Like this like more procedural, I guess, if that makes sense. Not necessarily that there is a social cue to it, but we don't do this way because we're supposed to do it that way, but just because that's the way we're used to. So, and I think that's the one really that students don't get. So one of their journal prompts is, in our school system, the pledges are, I said recited, although I don't know that that's quite the right word. Broadcast, I suppose, over the morning announcements. And students have to listen. You can't just get out of it. I guess you could plug your ears, but you have to be there for it, and it's played so that everybody can hear it. But they're not required to say the pledge or stand up or hand on the heart or anything like that. Don't have to do that. And so the question for the journal prompt is, should this change or not? And support your point. And I invariably have to point out to students that the question is deliberately, should this change? Not, should this be removed or something else? Because you
right.
can change it in a number of ways.
They
If it's going to
can
be
propose
changed,
a change. Yeah,
if it's going to be changed, you need to specify what the change should be. And I think I just really need to expand the prompt into, here are some options. Like, first of all, not do it at all. Second, students are required to stand but not to recite, or students are required to recite, or just keep it as it is. But I mean, they're all sort of quibbles in between. But in our conversation about it, of course, what I brought up was the dress code and things like, why is the dress code the way that it is? And one of the things that they brought up was that students are allowed to wear tank tops. And I said, is there a rule about how wide the straps on the tank tops have to be? Is that in the dress code? And I think they said it was either 2 or 3 fingers wide. And they're like, just ridiculous. Why can't you wear it? And none of them could come up with a reason. Steve, do you know why there might be a reason about, first of all, no strapless tops, and B, about the width of the strap? You have any ideas?
I have no idea.
Because they were just like, what is the matter? What's the big deal about shoulders? And I'm like, obviously, I said, the tank tops do show your shoulders. It's because that is wide enough where you can yank really hard on it and it won't snap.
Ah.
And I'm just like, I said, raise your hand if you know someone, yourself or somebody else, who has had their bra snapped. Now just imagine what would happen if somebody yanked on the strap of a tank top.
Yeah.
And they just went like it. I mean, and I'm very glad. I'm so glad that it hadn't occurred to any of them.
Right. Which hopefully means that it hasn't been a very
it hasn't been an issue. And, but you hope that, obviously those sorts of things have happened to people, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Exactly. And of course, for these, munchkins, that's maybe not completely before they have been born at the time, but they not within their memory. So
these youngsters.
Liz, in fairness, though, the comparison there is incredibly unequal. Whether or not Zelensky is far shrewder than most, that particular bar in that case was very low.
He's shrewder than Trump, just like most Chihuahuas are shrewder than Trump. And Caitlin says it's interesting that they mentally substitute change for abolish. I think that's just a testament to how so many of us are sort of unconsciously conditioned to black and white thinking, whether we realize it or not. We're just sort of conditioned to look at, okay, well, there's one of two options there. Everything is a 50-50 proposition. And if you say, okay, there's this thing that we've always done, and should we change it? And you don't give them any more context, a lot of people will automatically assume, well, change means get rid of it, because we do it. So the change would be to not do it, as opposed to
doing it differently
in some way.
Yes. So it's, and I do want to quibble. I'm not entirely sure that's conditioning. I would love to see research on that, because I think that classification is one of the sorting and classifying things is one of the best ways to help students learn new materials. Is this a this, or is it a that, or is it a this? But quite often, especially if we do like sorting among several things, we can then reclassify those groups into larger groups. And I feel like there may be that it may be in our brains that we have some sort of not necessarily evolutionary, but instinctual response that's not necessarily trained into us, that creates that binary thinking, because we do that like
quite possibly
all the time, and I'm not entirely sure that it's conditioning.
And it's kind of a chicken or the egg scenario, because as you were talking about that, I was thinking of the examples in our everyday life where there are assumed to be two options, or even like, you flip a coin, and a coin flip is heads or tails. That's two options. Most elections here in the United States anyway come down to two candidates, and it's you vote for this one or you vote for that one. Winner and loser. Like, there's so many binary, constructs in our, but your question is really interesting. Like, is it that way because we've been conditioned to think of it that way? or is it that way because there's some innate
Yeah.
instinct to see things
Well,
that way?
and like our socialization can then perpetuate that, any sort of innate, tendency. Our socialization then tends to perpetuate and exacerbate that. One of the things that we've seen is I think Malcolm Gladwell talks about it in Outliers, which has since been debunked, in a general sense. But one of the points that he makes is he talks about baseball players and how so many major league players are born in like they're not born after March, January through March. That's it. And it's because of the cutoff dates for like Little League. Like,
oh, sure.
And so since December's the cutoff date, the January babies, when they're just starting out and they're like, by the time you're like freaking 20 years old, January, December, not a big deal.
Doesn't make a difference. But
when you're 5, a January baby is almost a year ahead. That additional growth and development is huge. And so those January and February babies tend to outplay the November, December babies, which then means that they get funneled into the more competitive teams, which means they get better coaches, which means they get pushed harder and, offered more development. And then it just creates this perpetuated cycle, which is just fascinating. So yeah, same sort of thing like with the gender binary. Like,
sure,
there are some obvious physiological differences, and most people fall into either male or female as assigned at birth. And because of that, the social constructs around them tend to reinforce and amplify that. So yeah. I feel
and also, I mean, speaking of baseball, I mean, there's left-handed and right-handed, and that is usually, that is usually treated as a strict binary, but at least with batting, there are switch hitters who can bat from the left or the right, and they have always been the exception. But if you are able, either because you're naturally ambidextrous or because you've been able to train yourself to hit effectively from both sides of the plate, that is viewed as a great advantage, because it is a third way. It is an exception to the rule. It can really throw a wrench into the the planning and the managing of a team, assuming you put a lot of stock in the validity of the left-hander versus right-hander pitcher batter matchups. I want to acknowledge in the chat, Joseph M says, off topic, but I wanted to say I love you both and Jason on Ensign's log. Now, don't you feel bad?
Sorry, Joseph.
Don't you feel bad?
In general, yes, though not remotely for that reason.
Wow. Harsh.
I just
harsh.
I mean, I'm sure I've said this to you before, but I just, and it's not just this, but just, I wish I liked it more. And although that would complicate things.
We can still kill you off at any time.
I know.
Like that is hanging over your head. I mean, all it takes is for one of us. All it takes is for one of us to improv. Oh man, I just got a subspace message. Dana's dead.
No, it doesn't.
Her shuttlecraft blew up.
Look, we had Jason's funeral, for God's sakes.
That's true. It's Star Trek. We can kill you and bring you back. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just if I really, really loved it, it would make it actually, it wouldn't make it too hard because it's only once every 2 weeks. But man, like I came home and I sat down. I'm just like, I don't have everything. So I have to go in, like tomorrow I have the day off. Like I have a sick day because I have to
have an appointment. Yeah.
I don't know. You can see. I'm getting
you're going to the dentist. Yeah.
To get the crown fixed. Well, because I had a cleaning yesterday, and they said we're going to have to go ahead and get that crown done because I'd had the tooth chipped. It had a filling. It's been decades, I think, and that one filling was fine, and then it fell out, and they tried to repair it, and the new filling kept just falling off. And so they're like, look, it's going to need a crown. I'm like, it's been fine. Can we just see how it goes? And they checked it, not even with x-rays. And he's like, I can see cracks. If we don't take care of this, it's going to need a root canal. So I have to go back. And like, it's tomorrow. Like they told me yesterday, I had today to go back in. And I don't have everything ready. And so I have to go in on my day off. And I busted it today. Like it was just, go all day.
Sure.
Got there early. And I did not have enough time to do everything that I needed to do to have things ready for the sub for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to cut back.
You never do, though.
No, that is not true. I cut back on the show, didn't I? Didn't I?
Well, you did. Yes, you saved yourself 2 Sundays a month, and good for you.
Mm-hmm. So, and
also a lot of mental bandwidth that you were devoting to it that, you know, will hopefully be some relief to you. Gizmo TV in the chat says, hi, Steve, enjoy your Star Trek videos and completely agree with your political videos. Thank you. And then they also say, your views on Karl Marx. I don't really have any. I've never actually read any Marx, so I don't really have any views on him. I regard him.
He had a lot of hair.
And quite a beard. I've seen pictures.
That counts.
An epic beard, yeah. But no, I've never actually read any Marx, so I have no strong opinion. I mean, I don't have a, you know, I feel like people on the right use him as like a boogeyman, and I don't think they've read him either, but they just sort of assume because he's leftist, because he's associated with communism and socialism, oh, he's a bad guy. I have no ill will toward him. I have no specific opinion on him at all, because I've never actually read any of his work.
I mean, can we say imperfect and leave it at that?
Sure.
Well-intentioned, imperfect. You know, had some good ideas.
As Barry said about Abraham Lincoln, it's a complicated legacy.
Yeah. I mean, Barry's a smart guy.
Barry is, well, sort of.
What?
I said, well, sort of. I mean, he is a very, well, you never actually watched the show, though, did you?
Oh.
Barry. Who did you think I was talking about?
The real life Barry.
Barack Obama? No, I'm talking about Barry, the character from Barry, played by Bill Hader in the brilliant television show Barry, where at one point Barry has decided to sort of fill his time by watching and diving into history. And he learns that even though Abraham Lincoln was the leader of the Union and ultimately led to, you know, the freeing of the slaves, he also earlier in his life had a lot of views that, you know, by today's standards would be considered very racist. And when he learned that, his response was, it's a complicated legacy.
Yeah. Yep.
Air on Fire. Yeah, yes, I have seen.
I now learned my thing for today. There's a TV show called Barry,
and it's great.
I'll take your word for it.
It's a classic. It's a great show. 4 seasons on HBO.
I will take in mind that you think that it's great.
Wow.
Look, my dude, you know that sometimes we're like right there, and sometimes it's like,
what are we doing here? Yeah.
It's just really interesting. Anyhow.
But one of the areas where we are like this is with Poirot. So shall we watch this episode?
I would love that. So
would you like to explain to people how this works?
Yes. So hopefully, with all this jibber jabber, you have had the opportunity to find and queue up your copy of episode what? Which one?
It is the adventure of the Italian Nobleman.
Okay. Do we have numbers on that one?
Let me see. Season 5, episode 5.
Okay. Excuse me. Season 5, episode 5. So yeah, get that
Of
queued up in
Poirot.
wherever you're going to watch it, and then just make sure you have it all the way back down to 0000. And then hover your cursor or whatever clicky thing you have over the play button, and Steve is going to count us in. So Steve's going to say 3, 2, 1, play. And when Steve says play, we all press play together, and then we watch it together. And if you're not exactly right, then that's okay, because, you know, just in the ballpark, that's what you need. And if you have to restart or something, not a big deal. You can look here-ish. There's some numbers up there. Steve's got those.
Up there, yeah.
Up there. Up. And so you can be like, get it, again, ballparkish, you know, in the vicinity, and you'll be all caught up with us. So
exactly.
And chances are really good that you will not have missed like the reveal. So, and then if you're not sure, like, you know, hey, the last thing I said, just say it in the chat, and people will fill you in. And so, yeah, we're not 100%, you know, if you've missed something, we'll let you know, but chances are pretty good. We're just chit-chatting. We're just hanging out. Just having
we're
fun.
just hanging out and watching watching the funny little Belgian solve some murders.
Yep. They all want to say that he's like French. He's like, I'm not French.
I am not French.
Poirot
is not French. Let me see. Oh, Gizmo TV says, I consider DS9 my favorite Star Trek show. When do you think it hit its stride? Episode 1, buddy.
Yeah, that's one that, because you've mentioned that TNG, I think, is one that is generally considered season 1, not so much.
Season 1 of TNG is like, you know what? You really don't have to watch it if you don't want to. There are 1 or 2 episodes that are pretty good, but for the most part, it's just a wasteland. Okay, anyway, we'll talk more about Star Trek after we get started. Yes. I
do one thing. Frank?
Please.
I just want to say, I hope not. Will I get
what are you? I mean,
I really hope not.
Are you taking like a Poirot class? Maybe you can, I don't know. I will say, to make it clear, my YouTube channel is not accredited by any educational institution. So,
well, they are missing out. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, sure. Okay.
All right, we ready? You gonna count us in?
I'm gonna count us in. I'll say 3, 2, 1, play, and we all hit play when I say play. Here we go.
You said it like 3 times.
3, 2, 1, play.
Yay!
Oh, thank you, Cleo Harper. I subbed for the Wrong Side of History video, but you do this too? I do. I'm glad you're here. Caitlin says not being accredited doesn't stop PragerU. That's true. That's definitely who I should be trying to emulate. Fucking Dennis Prager. Poirot. Random detective objects. Look. I love that the credits are like just David Suchet kind of wandering through this abstract set. We got to give him something to do for the credits. What should it be? I don't know. Just have him walk around. Give the camera a creepy smile at one point. It'll be fine.
I mean, the regulars are all good, but like, he is Poirot. He's so good.
He is Poirot. Take that, Peter Ustinov.
Well, Kara, the challenge with that, of course, is that this would not fulfill much of the credit for Star Trekology either, being, you know, the Poirot half of the series. Wait, he wasn't speaking English. Crap. Oh, it's Italian, I think. What? It looks incredibly tiny to me. Of course, I live in Georgia, so our engines look way less tidy. Okay, so I was right. It was Italian.
The title kind of gives it away.
Did he say Signor Vizzini? Like Vizzini?
Oh, that's Sicilian. Ash, thank you for the super chat. No, I have not. I have not read the Ring novels.
Me either. They go to all that work to make or not. I would want Hastings to be relatively knowledgeable there.
Yeah, that's like his one thing.
Yeah, like come
He
on, give
knows
him this
cars.
one thing.
It's like having Superman be able to run faster than the Flash. It's not fair. Just give him it's his one thing. Give him his one thing. I will dock your pay. He wants to get up in her guts. Boy, car dealerships were way nicer in the 30s.
Woo! Something about talking about Vizzini.
Such an exquisitely angry
Tell
language.
Vizzini something.
Azalea, I know, with the scarf that like pulls through the front like that.
I mean, they are the upper middle class. Honestly, I don't think I noticed it until y'all talked about it. Ha 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 ha.
I just so happen to have it right here.
Oh my. Yes, remember, Caitlin, they were saying, invite him to tea.
I was thinking it was like hot Mountain Dew from the color.
I mean, it's probably herbal. Poirot has the tisanes, which are, herbal concoctions or like chamomile based.
They're on a
I
first name
forgot that
basis.
her name is Felicity, which is such a lovely name.
Caitlin, I've noticed there's a lot of Poirot stories that are extremely similar, at least in their basic premise, to Holmes stories. What's the other half?
Writing a very large check and knowing that you can cover it.
Ah, that does seem to have its.
Bye, Ash. Thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks for stopping by, Ash. Good to have you.
You can come by at the end and just scoot to the end of the show to find out who the murderer is.
There you go. Well, I don't think that call was for me. My name's not Dr. Help.
Yeah, Cara, I'm pretty sure that's for green. Probably, honestly, it's probably chamomile and mint, I would guess.
It's
might
Mountain
give it a green
Dew.
tinge.
It's Mountain Dew. Or possibly Theraflu.
Yeah, Caitlin, he might have a bit of creme de menthe in it.
Would I?
Hook nose. I don't know. Do you know that one?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh.
What is it from?
It's a joke. Remind me and I'll tell you later.
I would love to.
Because I won't remember to tell you. I'll remember the joke if you remind me, though.
Okay.
Kitty! Unhappy kitty, it sounds like.
It doesn't sound like a very happy kitty. Yeah. Oh, it's a Siamese.
Pretty kitty, though.
Piss off.
Sounds very cat-like.
That is
they say that a lot.
Pissed off cat.
They have, basically 3 moods. Feed me! And I'm eating now, and piss off. Although sometimes it's piss off, I'm eating now.
True.
I mean, with that amount of blood coming from the head, or possibly neck.
It always it's a good idea to check.
I guess.
It's always a good idea to check. Well, this murder was a bust because of the.
Yeah, poor. I'm just. Pro's like, you're all so dumb.
Yeah,
I'm
seems
sorry,
like
but if somebody bashed in the head like that and they die from that, no, they didn't call.
seems like an open and shut case for Poirot. You are correct. Caitlin, that was my favorite move from my cat. The love me, love me, love me, love me. Don't fucking touch me!
That's enough! How can you tell it's black?
Oh, there might be sugar in it.
Exactly.
You'll have to taste to be sure.
That's impressive. I can never tell the difference between port and sherry just by smelling.
Well, you're not an alcoholic.
There is that.
So just a light snack.
I say as I sit here smoking. Snake my cat, yes, it's pick me up and pet me forever, but then, okay, I've had enough, piss off. Those ginormous flashes are just so much fun to look at.
Well, don't be too hard on yourself, Jap. I mean, you're busier than Poirot. You are the only detective on the police force.
Apparently not soon enough for some people. Investigating a murder? Well, Caitlin, I mean, I would say is inevitable unless not so peaceful happens.
Ah, good. They've tranquilized the cat. I'm here to see Count of Toscadini. There's a Luigi Mangione here to see you, sir. A Trilby? Oh, I don't like this guy already.
Well, I mean, he's sending him off for the trilogy as a get out of here. like I can kind of understand. And he said, what thing, what's this? Qual cosa? But I'm just like, because the English is over top of it. I just like, I
But
can't understand.
you're not supposed to be paying attention to that. How
But
dare
it's
you?
fun.
I love that story.
Which is hilarious. That's never the time of the murder.
Yeah. All right, let's get this stiff out of here, boys.
Oh, Hastings adds something useful.
Good for him. Well, that's why he didn't know about the car, because he was going to know about this thing later. So they didn't want to.
Hastings cannot know two things in the same
Exactly.
case. Not allowed.
Exactly.
Not
You would almost have
deliberately.
to.
I just think I am that important. Like that's how important I
Not-
actually think I am. Oh,
Never
boy.
intentionally.
In case you couldn't tell.
I'm not Italian. Oi!
Oh,
I'm
that
not
was
Italian, am I? So all these people came to speak with the Godfather?
Oh no, they came to pay their respects. I mean, if you don't show up, you might take it as an insult.
You come to my
have that.
daughter's wedding, you don't even think to bring a gift. You don't even call me Godfather.
Pot shadow, Caitlin. I like that. So how come Poirot got the champagne and Hastings didn't?
My absolutely real uncle, yes. Oh, my uncle.
Yeah, sure, Hastings. Yeah, I didn't get that one. I heard it, Dove Scagno, but Caitlin, I was thinking competitor. Kara, yes. Oh,
Well, thanks for your help. Just catch a quick glimpse of that painting of Mussolini there on the wall.
let's establish the time period, just
Yeah.
in case you missed it from the costumes and the cars.
It is the super mafia.
Masnaliani?
Oh, that's a cool revolving door. You were right.
Aw.
The Illuma Mafia.
Oh, look at his face so sad.
He's so sad. Get out, get out. Goodbye, you filthy manservant, you lowly butler who is beneath me. You're just an
I
ignorant
suppose
member of
so,
the
sir.
dirty serving class. Bye, Alfred.
I would point out that Marx would say they are of the same social class since they both are working class.
And I would point out to you that I have not read Marx.
Dude, working class. You know what the working class is.
I don't know what that means. I've never read Marx.
See here. This is my I can't be fired for that indication of my thoughts on that matter.
A message received.
In every case that must be solved, I'll have to think on that one. Did she say Mr. Dorito? Más nada. Okay. Cara, now I'm incredibly curious. You'll have to tell us once we figure it out.
It's because she hates Italian people.
Yeah, did she not pick up on that earlier?
Oh, I forgot how many fucking Italians were in this one.
I mean, 7's all right, but 8? No, that's too
excessive.
Much. Music in a minor key, so it's extra suspenseful.
I did not know the line at the car wash would be so long. It's not a very subtle stakeout, is it?
They are waiting for Vicini. I always like that where there's stuff that's typed because it's fun to go back and be like, so pause. You're like, okay, what does it actually
Did they actually
say?
write something for that, or is it just lorem ipsum? Yeah.
All right. One of you low-level goons.
All right. Get this Italian guy to open the door.
Look, while that's burning, put some like furniture or something in front of the because that, or I don't know, pour some brandy on it.
Question number 1. Are you Italian?
What do I smell burning? Well, I guess he didn't really need to, bar the door or put some accelerant on the fire because they're just going to stand around and chit-chat.
They're going to give it plenty of time to burn.
There we go. Oh, see, Poirot. See, look at that. Some of that is not burnt. That this is one of the things that did not burn. So convenient. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. That was so great.
That's why Poirot said that, because that's what the piece of paper he found said.
I mean, it couldn't have been, tomorrow afternoon. Like if that hadn't burned.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with the concept of tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah.
Of course you are. I have found it in your fireplace.
Well, I mean, Caitlin, I can understand it. Like, he only had just learned that they were coming after him, but like, start the fire, make sure there's some accelerant on it, and then in addition to flipping the bolt, there was all kinds of furniture in there, like heavy furniture. Shove something up across the door. And Caitlin, exactly. You make sure that it gets all the way burned, and then you smush the ashes so that it's powder, and then they got nothing.
You think you're so smart.
I don't necessarily think. Well, I do think I'm so smart.
You do think you're quite smart. Yeah.
I don't think I'm infallible. I just think I'm smarter than that guy. Again, low bar. Masnada.
Well, okay then.
I mean, given that Foscatini is dead, obviously he's not going to be paying me any longer. Now, is he, sir?
Indeed.
I don't know. Maybe you should ask him. Oh, wait, he's dead. H.B. Haga, sort of. Fish people, by virtue of being people, should not be trusted.
Can't trust fish people.
Can't trust people.
You can't trust fish people.
Like I say often, Steve. People.
You do say that often.
I do.
Why are people?
Why do people have to be? I don't have a valet of my own. Will you straighten my tie?
Hastings, look. I raise my right hand, but in the mirror, my left hand goes up.
That is, Hastings, because you are stupid.
Thank you for explaining it to me as though I were a 5-year-old.
That's about what he means. Oh, he stands there for the mirror.
He's like, he needs to verify it. He's like, hey, let me check this. Hang on a second.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy, he really is like a little kindergartner. Oh boy.
Snake Big Cat, I never trusted her. I'm Team Lana when it comes to Superman's ex-girlfriends. I'm Team Lana for life. Is it true you have an immunity to iocane powder?
No.
The man in black had the...
Exactly. Yeah. Caitlin, aren't most red wines blood red?
With a face like that, you kind of have to play the villain, don't you?
Liz, bad idea. Well, Caitlin, I mean, so is blood. I mean, and some of it also depends on the thickness of the glass. If there's not a whole lot of wine in there, then yeah, it's going to be see-through. If you have one of those full bottomed glasses, then yeah, it's gonna you won't be able to see through it. But look at that glass is fluted. Okay, so we got three. What's this guy's name? He's the guy who owns the car dealership.
This guy?
Yeah.
Isn't that Vizzini?
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Well, don't just leave me hanging. Who did? Yep, he's dead.
100%. Oh, I love glass bricks. I love glass bricks so much. So pretty. Normally, I do not think about the victim. I ignore them. The victim is not important. He's Italian.
No, I'm trying to tell you foscatini is a kind of pasta.
Antonia, I think you're being overly generous. I mean, not mutilated by any sense, but
it's not a bad looking corpse.
I'm sure, but not good looking. You know, I'm not like
fair. It's a fair corpse. It's
that man. I mean, I have my standards, but let me tell you, if we weren't absolutely sure that guy was dead.
Normally, I'm against necrophilia, but you know, I'm just saying.
I begin the tornado of beef. Thank you very much. Now, I'm British. He had fish. Oh, this supposed to be 3. Oh, did we know that? When I have high standards overall, I think. Yeah, Tony, exactly. He's just gonna, he's all right. Mario Ascanio.
Mario Ascanio.
No. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh no.
The butler did it.
Oh.
You couldn't have been that attached to the guy.
No, I just feel bad for Miss Lemon.
Oh, she'll get over it. Hastings is right there for a rebound.
Shut it. No, she would never get with Hastings.
For a rebound.
No. No. That woman has standards.
Yes, but she'll be in a very emotionally vulnerable state. Oh, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, baby. Do it. Thunk. The cat doesn't give a shit.
As they do all the time. No pun intended. Antonia, really, just the valet.
I'm making a call on this Fisher Price phone. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Kara, why the cat?
The cat had to witness that carnage. At the boat place.
The photograph. Oh, it's oh. He gets two!
Hastings is killing it this episode.
I am so impressed with you, Hastings.
Well, Caitlin, he needed to build up his strength after that murder.
Also, they sounded pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he killed him.
Soul and tornadoes of beef? Heck yeah. Although the thing I thought they were going for is like, wait a minute. They both had dark, but port is for after dinner. So it didn't matter that they were both like a dark red color. I guess he just didn't pour the wine. No wonder that they had to negate his knowledge about cars. I mean, he gets two other things that he knows. He gives the important detail that allows them to like catch the bad guy. Hi, Sully. Hastings.
Keystone Cops to the rescue.
Woo! Absolutely nothing. I love how the Italian girl is just like mildly surprised. She's like, excuse you? How rude.
He's like, oh, sorry, wrong place. Bye.
My bad. And Hastings gets to catch him. Come
yeah.
on,
and I mean the car does look. Oh no, the car Hastings got does look a little Batmobile-ish. This way, everybody.
The upset geese. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious, and I love it so much.
Okay, now they have to drive through people carrying a pane of glass, and they need to drive through a fruit cart.
Really? You couldn't just go around that guy? We're just gonna...
I'll just drive out onto the moor. Liz, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
I don't know if it's Hastings. And they're going as fast as they... So it's probably like 18 miles an hour. Oh,
he needs to it needs to end when he drives off of a ramp and lands in a barn filled with hay.
No, just sort of in like maybe a 3-inch ditch, just boom.
What this really needs is Dukes of Hazzard music.
HB Haga Kara, or at least, you know, a rather low fence. Oh no! Oh, those beautiful cars. Hastings!
Yeah! That wasn't for the murder, that was for my car.
Did he really say that's for my car?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was ridiculous. Yes, but he was a rich blackmailer.
You know, I hate to be that guy, but legally you're not allowed to kill blackmailers either. I mean, I'm just saying. Aggrandizement.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Yeah. I just figured it was named the Fantasia Felice, and he just couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Poor Miss London. She has boyfriends so early. But think of it this way, Miss Hastings. Now you can spend more time on your filing system.
There you go. I don't pay you to date.
But he doesn't pay her to work on the filing system either. That's her hobby. Oh.
That look.
That was great. That last
that look is amazing.
His face. Oh my God, he's so good.
I was hoping the world's most angry, hateful cat would be coming to live with us. Oh, wonderful.
No, that's her flat. Like they literally went somewhere else. So I don't know why he's so upset. That was
a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, that was like generally I'm just like, oh yeah, Poirot evening. Not that I don't like DS9, but it's just I don't know. It's just so happy making. Yes. So yeah, Kara with the not exactly spoilers there. But yeah. That was so much fun in so many ways. I think
it was nice to see Hastings get his little moments.
Yeah, you know? Like I think I actually love the fact that they took away his knowledge of cars because I mean, I don't know about you. We mentioned it, but I was like, it, like, I was a little bit offended on his behalf.
Yeah.
But then it paid off because, like, he got to do some, like, cool stuff. He got to know some things that were not just about cars, but relevant to the case. What?
It's the demonstration of the old principle that
Hastings isn't allowed to know too much. Oh, wait, sorry, my bad.
The sun even shines on a sleeping dog's ass.
Well, he is certainly a sleeping dog sass.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hate to say it, but I do not think that, I mean, I don't know. I have the time and the awakeness to deal with not Wordle, but my brain is just...
That's fine. We can skip it.
I will warn y'all. I mean, I'm reluctant to do so because, I mean, I don't want to mess with our streak.
We can skip it. It's fine.
Okay. It's fine. My brain is all on, oh God, I don't have the plans finished for tomorrow.
It's all good. Exactly, Caitlin. If you don't want to, don't. You're overthinking it.
I want to.
I know you want to. You're overthinking it. You know what, Caitlin? You know what is meant by it.
Yes.
When someone says, if you don't want to, you don't need to overanalyze it down to the atomic level. It can just be, oh, I know what you mean. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. And it's like, I want to play, but also I want to wait.
Understandable.
So yes, let's not forget. I mean, let's be honest. You're all subscribed, right?
Let's hope so.
If you're watching this, you're subscribed.
Quite a few are even members, which is very lovely to see. Thank you all for being members.
Speaking of being members, if you are a member or a patron on patreon.com/Steve Shives, next week you can send in your ask when Steve sends out the email to everybody and says, hey, fill out the Google form. You have up to 1,000 characters to send in your ask. You can ask Steve anything your heart desires, and he will read it live next Friday on this very channel.
That's right. And
before he starts, taking questions from just, the hoi polloi.
From the riffraff in the chat.
I know. And here's the bonus. If you attend, then you can, and you're a member or a patron, you can have your questions sent in for him to read first, and then also you can add in other questions.
That is true.
After we get through that. So yeah,
that is true. Awesome. There is unlimited potential for the number of questions you can ask me, in theory.
In theory.
Yes.
I mean, I think there is a limit because eventually we all go to bed.
Eventually I will end the Eventually I will end the show.
You're like, all right, we're done here. And also don't forget, and I usually don't mention this, don't forget also there is a new Stuffy short every Ask Away. So
every Ask Away, yes. And the next
one
is a good one.
To look forward to.
The next one is a good one.
Steve, come on.
And actually, one of the upcoming ones that I haven't shot yet. I was talking to you. I wrote a new one yesterday that I was quite pleased with. I read it to you. I read it to you over the phone.
Oh, yes, that was a good one. But and speaking of which, I will say, yes, next Fridays might be a good one. But let's be honest, Steve, they're all good ones.
Oh, you're very nice.
I am.
You're very nice.
Sometimes. And also, before that, don't forget, next week, Wednesday, this time, be here, 6 p.m. Eastern. Same general setup, except we'll be watching DS9. But what will we be watching, Steve?
Dana, we will be watching.
Wait. Oh, yeah?
The season 5 finale.
I don't know if I'm ready for that, Steve.
We have finally come to the end of season 5 of Deep Space Nine. And we will be watching the I will call it the pivotal episode. Call to Arms.
The pivotal episode of Deep Space Nine.
Maybe not the only pivotal episode, but a pivotal episode.
Okay. Dialing it back just a smidge.
That's yeah, but it is a very important episode, and it's called Call to Arms, and that is next time. Yes, Caitlin,
Wow.
it is the fulcrum of the series. Not quite, but I mean, there are multiple fulcrums. There are multiple sort of pivot points in the show, but no, this is an important episode.
So I'm not especially religious, but if anybody up there listening, please make sure I don't hate this one, because then everybody's going to be mad at me.
No, it's fine. It's
I know. I'm being silly.
If I can forgive you for not liking The Lighthouse, I can forgive you. I can forgive you for not liking anything.
There is a very good chance that I will not loathe this as much as The Lighthouse.
Wow. That's just disappointing.
Gosh, it was such a pain to get. I did watch the whole thing, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Well, it's only
that's
like
more than we
minutes.
Can say for Temple of Doom.
Oh God, you gave Temple of Doom no chance at all. Like something offended you. Something offended you in the opening credits, and you were like, "I'm out."
One thing. Whew. Okay.
Okay, so you were offended by the opening credits. I'll make a broader statement. You were offended by the opening credits.
It was offensive. I will say this for The Lighthouse: it is only moderately problematic.
Okay.
It's not overtly racist.
No, it's not. I would be curious. I would be curious to watch the new Nosferatu with you.
How long is it?
It's 2 hours and a little bit, maybe like 2 hours and 10 minutes, something like It's not like a marathon.
Oh, thank you, Air One Fire. Now I can't say much about the rest of the movie. Yeah. And I think, from what I remember, the whole, the mine thing, that seems like fun. So, Steve, maybe if we get a chance, maybe we can just watch just that part. I think that might be. Anyway.
Or like the short round supercut. We'll watch the short round supercut.
I think the mine cart. I think that one's safe.
No Time for Love, Dr. Jones. Come on.
Short round is kind of racist.
Yeah, but it's Ke Huy Quan. I mean, it's like he's great.
The actor is great. Nope.
Temple of Doom is incredibly problematic, but I still enjoy the hell out of it. I am a defender of Temple of Doom. Not for that stuff, but overall as
you may have guessed,
as an enjoyable adventure film.
I do not enjoy it.
I know.
I will grant the rest of your statement, though. It is an adventure film.
Wow. Well, good for you. No, but I would be curious, because you've never seen any version of Nosferatu, correct? Because there have been 3 now. Although I remember back in the day, you've probably forgotten, but back in the good old days, we did watch Shadow of the Vampire together, which is the fictionalized movie of the making of Nosferatu, with Willem Dafoe as the vampire and John Malkovich as F.W. Murnau.
I have some vague recollections of that, because I can picture Willem Dafoe with the two, because most vampire depictions on screen use, I think it's the bicuspids,
right? Yeah, and the Count Orlok, it was the
incisors.
Yeah.
So Air One Fire, apparently so. However,
Air One Fire, of course. Why is that such a shock?
Well, again, because so many things just so many things that you like, either I really like, we both like a lot, or I just like them, oh God. And so I think what it is the absurdist type stuff. Do not like anything, and also anything to do with humiliation based humor. Hate. Absolutely hate. No fun at all. And then also a lot of SNL stuff. A lot of people love the movie Elf. Now, some of it I think is nostalgia bait, because they grew up with it. But what comes to, I really like Will Ferrell in Stranger Than Fiction. Any of his comedy, it comes across as that he thinks that being loud is synonymous with being funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the same thing. And like, I feel that way about a lot of SNL type stuff. Although
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't seem to like that either. Anyway.
Well, yeah, no. And I don't like a lot of SNL stuff just in general.
Air One Fire, we didn't know you at the, in fact, we weren't on YouTube didn't exist.
YouTube didn't exist. This, yeah, we watched it like when it came out. We didn't see it in the theater. We saw it when it came out on video. Like I think we rented
video cassette, although it may have been DVD.
DVD. It was DVD. It was DVD. But yeah, we rented it because back then you had to actually go to a store,
physical store, and get a physical copy,
and pass currency over to a person who worked at the store, and they would give you a physical copy of the movie to take home. Yeah. And yes, Eddie Izzard or Susie Izzard is in Shadow of the Vampire as as the actor who plays Hooter, who is the Jonathan Harker equivalent in the Nosferatu movie. Yes.
Jonathan Harker.
And you have a Jonathan Harker connection because you had a you were.
I think we can talk about Jonathan Harker for real now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I would love to find out how Jonathan Harker is doing.
Yeah. Jonathan Harker was the name of a kid that was at KinderCare, right? When you were there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Probably right around 2000-ish. No,
yeah,
maybe a year or two after. Yeah.
But my favorite part, I remember that because, of course, we would talk about it a lot.
Because you were the one who picked up on it.
Because you saw him like every day. And I love that you told me for a while, you actually called him Harker. You didn't say Jonathan, you called him Harker. And I love that. And apparently, like, somebody asked you not to call him that and to call him by his first name. But I was just like, that is so great that there's a kid, like a fucking 4-year-old kid or whatever in your preschool, and his name is Jonathan Harker, and you refer to him as Harker. Like the other characters in Dracula talked about Jonathan Harker. Nobody called him Jonathan. They were like, Harker, quick, like I just, I love it so much.
He's so small and so cute. Also, prominent incisors, just saying.
Well, I mean, depending on which version of the story you're going with, Harker was
adorable little redheaded Muppet. So imaginative. Oh gosh, I hope he is living his best life wherever you are, Jonathan Patrick Harker.
And I hope he is not a vampire.
Or if he is, that he is a happy vampire who is living a good life and is not, is living in it in a way that is not harmful to others.
I hope he's a happy vampire, not like a Louis from Interview with the Vampire type vampire. That guy is such a mope. Like, get over it, man. Enjoy your life. Actually, I think
like the other guy, the Tom Cruise one.
One of the most unintentionally funny scenes I think I've ever seen, especially in like a horror movie, is in that the Tom Cruise Brad Pitt Interview with the Vampire, when and then there's the little girl, the Kirsten Dunst little girl vampire. They've just fed on somebody, right? They've killed somebody, and the little girl vampire says, what happens to them? Like the people they killed. She says, what happens to them? And Lestat says, oh, they go to heaven. Isn't that right, Louis? Everyone goes to heaven. They all go to heaven. And Louis says, all but us. And I'm like, you miserable motherfucker. You are, I mean, I laughed out loud when I saw it. I was like, this is like morose beyond morose. You're like the unhappiest vampire I've ever seen. I mean, Angel with his soul was happier. Angel with his soul wasn't that depressed about being a vampire.
Unless someone touched his hair. No, not the hair. Never the hair.
Do you remember when was it like season 3, I think, where they went to Lauren's home dimension? And because of the way things worked, like Angel could see his reflection because it was like a different dimension and they had different rules. And he sees his reflection in the mirror for the first time. And he's like going like this to his head and going, why is it doing this? Has it always done this? Why didn't anybody tell me? Such a great show. Anyway, we were going to end the show and then we got started talking about vampires and
so fun. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, join, all that fun stuff. And then also, so next week we'll be watching Deep Space Nine, the
That's
very
right.
end of season 5, Wednesday, and then the Friday after that is Ask Away. So make sure to get your, be thinking about those, even though Steve hasn't sent out the notification for that.
Yeah.
And then also don't forget to check down in the description of this video for some links to some nonprofit organizations that could use some support.
Indeed.
Some of them financially, but also looking for ways to get involved in your community. Very important. Yes, additionally, there's charitylinks.page, which has links to Ko-Fi and GoFundMe's and things like that for friends and associates of ours who could use some financial help, because helping people is good.
Indeed. Indeed it is. All right. That'll do it. We'll see you next week for Deep Space Nine, and then I'll see you a week from Friday for Ask Away. So until then, have a good night, everybody.
Peace out.
We'll see you later. Bye.